Have you ever just sat the night of your exam and was so motivated to start studying and start getting those good grades and everything? So, what you do is just get all the materials you need, start fantasizing about all the good grades you're gonna get, how you're gonna be top of your class and everything. An hour goes by. And then you just start staring at everything. Literally everything becomes so interesting. You get distracted. Another hour goes by. You decide to check on your phone. Another 5 hours go by. And then you just give up and start pulling an all-nighter. Honestly, me too. I have ADHD. So basically, procrastinating is what I do best. And for the longest time ever, I've always thought I was just lazy, which was not right. If you really, really suffer to get stuff done, and if you relate to what I just said right now, you're mostly not just lazy. Telling you that, you might feel relieved that you might just be better than everyone else, and you're like the chosen one. Oh, yay, I'm not lazy. Well, I hate to break it to you, sweetheart. It's not that simple. Well, see, I was a gifted child. I've always been a gifted child. See, I got good grades. I started speaking and writing way, way much before my peers started. And that kind of affected me in a way where I've always had that academic validation. I've spoken about validation before, and I've never really thought it would be this complicated. See, the thing about academic validation in specific is it's really, really, really hard to get through it. See, till this day, I'm in high school. Till this day, I haven't gotten over my academic validation. I still hate myself. I still can't look myself in the mirror when I get a bad grade. But still, I'm trying to get through it. Why is it so hard? Is because, see, especially when you're told that you're gifted and better than everyone, when you go to high school, especially this is my first year of high school, I've struggled a lot. I've struggled a lot with my self-worth. I've struggled a lot with grades, specifically. See, in my middle school years, I haven't really had to put that much effort to get a good grade. I hadn't had to put any effort at all. But see, as I got older, things got harder. And when I say harder, they really got hard to deal with as someone that was supposed to be better. See, I've always viewed myself as someone that got good grades. That's who I am. So that attachment to good grades really did me bad, especially in high school. I've literally gotten the worst grades I've ever gotten in my life. And it was traumatizing. See, the reason behind this whole story is to just tell you that academic validation is the kind of validation you get when you're really young. It starts when you're in first grade, maybe before that, but mine started way before that. I started to crave being good at school just to think that I'm worth it. So I basically tied my worth to getting good grades. And the thing about that is it really leaves you hanging. You're never going to get that full validation. You're never going to get the worth you're searching for. See, one day I feel amazing. I feel worthy because I got a good grade. And then the other day I feel shitty. And see, there's a lot that I can talk about right now. But mostly I'm just going to say that laziness is just a facade, and it's way more simpler. See, when you're lazy, you don't do it every day. But when you're lazy, it's just a simple facade. The thing with procrastinating over and over again is that it's caused by something that's a lot more complicated. So when society tells you you're lazy, you may feel really bad for yourself, and you might not even care at all. But the thing with society is it tries to give you the best solution that it thinks it fits you. So you procrastinate a lot, so you're lazy. But that's not really the case. The case is you procrastinate because of certain beliefs that were rooted inside of your brain years ago. When I say years ago, I mean when you were a child, like 4, 5, 6 years old. You basically were made to believe that in order to be good, you have to get good grades. And in order to be loved and to be worthy and to be appreciated, you have to get good grades. Which is really bad because now, well, here you go. You have to live your whole life based on what other people think of you and based on the effort that you put in your studies, in your school, in your work, etc. So it's basically the beliefs, there are a lot of beliefs, like perfectionism. First of all, I'm an ADHD person, I am a perfectionist. So when you're a perfectionist, you think oh, if it's not perfect, then I'm not doing it. If it's not it's black or white, I cannot accept gray in my life. So whenever I start a topic and I start learning and stuff, and I think that I'm not gonna get the perfect grade on this certain topic, I just stop studying, or I just procrastinate until the last minute because I know I'm not gonna get a perfect grade, so why would I even put the effort to try and get an average grade, which is horrible, which is draining mentally, physically. And a lot of times I don't feel enough, and I will be like, what's even the point in studying? I mean, I'm not worthy, so why study? It's like I think right now and I believe right now, not right now, well, beliefs are rooted in your brain years ago. So I've always believed that I'm not worthy, so why even study for this test when I'm not worthy? I'm not gonna get my worth from a singular test, which is very complicated. So basically, you believe that you're not good enough and you're not gonna be perfect or you're not gonna do perfect, so you just procrastinate. You believe that your mental problems or you're really good at working under pressure, which is wrong. I mean, for my whole life, I've basically just thought that I just worked better under pressure, and that's why I procrastinated, which is wrong. I mean, obviously, I'm horrible at working under pressure. I mean, I get things done, but not in a good way, and especially not in a good mental state. I mean, I procrastinate better than everyone I know. Better than every person. And especially people with ADHD, we gonna procrastinate. It's a trait. And what really helped me go through procrastination is just realizing those beliefs and understanding where they come from, like perfectionism, low self-worth, low self-esteem, seeking validation, attachment issues, all of those things, all of those beliefs from years and years ago, from that little child, are actually affecting you now and will be affecting you your whole entire life if you don't change anything. And what really helped me, especially these days, because I've been struggling a lot, to say the least, is just understand those beliefs. I mean, you just pull out a piece of paper and just start writing what are the wrong beliefs that make me procrastinate. And the biggest one for me personally was my perfectionism. See, if I'm not gonna get a perfect grade at this test, then why even study? Why even bother? Because my whole life I've been told that it's either I'm perfect or I'm terrible. One of them. There is no in between. I cannot physically be average. And the thing is, it affects you in every aspect of your life. And I'm not even kidding. Competitions, yeah. School, yeah. Work, yeah. Everything, even my hobbies, even the hobbies that I adored, even content creation. I've struggled a lot with making videos because, I mean, I'm still new at this. I mean, I've been making videos for 4 years now on my first channel, but on this channel it's quite really complicated. And a little fun fact for you guys, this exact video is actually a step that I'm taking towards my perfectionism healing kind of journey, because I mean, perfectionism really affected me, and I've been slacking off a lot. I mean, I've lived in fight or flight mode for the longest time ever, and you can't just get out of that mode. You see, I've been slacking off healing my traumas for years. I mean, I knew what was wrong with me. I knew that a lot of things about me were not right. I knew that the reason I was procrastinating, the reason I was always living in fight or flight mode were actually much deeper reasons that I decided to give myself. I mean, my whole life I was like, oh, maybe I'm just lazy. Maybe I just don't feel like it. Maybe it's just something more complicated than I think. And I was right. It was actually much more complicated. And the reason that really helped me get over that is the fact that I was so tired of living and believing those things and going through those troubles. Like, it really made me feel like, yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. Like, it was so hard for me to the point where I'm like, I am going to feel all that pain. See, all of those traumas, all of that pain that I did not feel for all those past years, like living in fight or flight mode, I've decided to go through them all, which is really, really hard to deal with. I mean, just journaling, like, it's great. I mean, it helps me years. And see, I journal a lot, especially dealing with my perfectionism. I always journal, like, what is the belief behind this? Why am I procrastinating? But the real thing that can actually help you get over all of that, like, wrong beliefs is to just feel things, to just be in the moment. I mean, most of the time, or like 90% of my day, just goes while I'm feeling, whether I'm sad or angry. It's just, I've never really lived in the moment. So just live in the moment and try to understand things more. Like, try to understand the reason that you're procrastinating. Don't just let society project you into some stupid excuses like, oh, you're just lazy. You just have to do things. Like, I physically cannot. And I'm not kidding you, I physically cannot not procrastinate. Like, I would just look at every topic that I have to study and think to myself that if it's not going to be perfect, then why bother? The only thing that can actually help you get over all of those results is to actually acknowledge those beliefs and understand them, and always, always remind yourself. Like, even if this is not perfect, I'm starting. Even if this video is not going to be the best video that I ever make, I'm doing it. Like, I'm doing it right now. Even though it might not be perfect, but I'm doing it, and effort still counts, even if it's not 100%. You could put 5% of effort today in whatever, school, studying, working out, etc. Just acknowledge those things, and don't be so caught up in social media and those fake highs, and like comparing yourself to people. Don't get caught up in those. Just be yourself, acknowledge the good things and the bad things, acknowledge your beliefs, because it's really hard to do that while trying to just live. Like, I know, like, one thing about me is, like, it's hard enough to actually live in fight or flight mode for me to actually start getting out of that, like, fight or flight mode. Like, it's hard. I know. We know. So that's why I'm telling you to actually acknowledge everything. Acknowledge your wins, acknowledge your failures, learn from them, learn from yourself. I mean, for the longest time, I've been trying to make videos to just teach people where to not make mistakes. So just like, okay, I made this mistake, so you don't make it. And I've always tried to search for videos of like people that were older than me to not make their mistakes. I've always just tried to be perfect, if you know what I mean. And it's not that easy. See, as I'm telling you right now, like I'm telling you to journal, to acknowledge those beliefs, to live in the moment, etc. But I know it's not easy. It's not as easy as I'm just saying it. Like I can't tell you, okay, now you don't have ADHD, now you don't procrastinate anymore. It's not easy, I know. And you have to also know that. You have to know that these things are not easy, and you have to also not listen to the people that are telling you to just get out of it or stop it. So please, please, please be gentle with yourself and understand that healing trauma is not something that you can just do. I mean, some days are good, some days are bad, some days you don't even want to get out of bed, some days you put 100% of your effort in. It's fine and it's okay. You're human and so am I. I mean, thank you so much for listening to this video. I really hope this helped, even if it's just a little tiny bit. But yeah, thank you. Goodbye.